Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Forever Stranded. Now, that's the second time that I'm saying that, guys. Let's take a moment here and we're going to talk about corrupted video footage. So, I've recorded about, an hour of material that I'm going to, kind of pare down a little bit. And all of a sudden I find that as I'm putting it into the software that I use, some of the video clips are corrupted, they're not loading correctly, they're missing sound, so I'm having to start all over, which is why there is a big gap between the last episode and this one. I missed a couple of spots while trying to fix this already, and I'm probably going to miss one more trying to actually get this episode out and ready for you guys. But I'm going to try to go over all of the stuff that I did in each of those individual clips and then bring it all back together here. So one of the first things that I did, as I said at the end of the last episode, I was trying to find a way to get us some auto processing going so that way we would have plenty of materials to work with in the future. So over here, one of the first side projects I did was install these elevators. I have one that goes up to the top floor, one that comes to the middle floor, and then one that comes to the down floor. Now this is just an area that I've dug out, obviously. I haven't really put any plans in action here, although this is where the mycelium was growing so that I could have witch water fermenting as necessary. So let's head back up. The second thing is that I wanted to go ahead and do an auto heavy sieve. So for that, let's take a look here. There we go. These are all the machines that I needed to make this work. So an auto heavy sieve requires steel, and I had 8 ingots from doing this stuff before in some of the quests, but you need a lot there. As you can see, 2 full blocks and then 2 extra comes out to 20 ingots needed. So I had to find a way to craft up the steel. So what I did is I looked at the recipe for it, and eventually I found that there was a machine added by Thermal Expansion called an induction smelter. To make this, you need a bucket, a machine frame, redstone reception coil. There's the reception coil. Here's the machine frame with a tin gear, which is just 4 iron, a rounded piece of tin. And then Invar. Invar, the recipe for it, let's take a look here, is iron and nickel. Now I just made that in the good old smeltery here. Put in 2 iron ingots and a nickel ingot, and it made Invar for me, and I poured it out. Now the reason I needed that is because this machine can make steel pretty cheaply. It only takes charcoal dust and iron ingots to make. Charcoal dust, of course, you can just put through the sag mill normal charcoal and it comes out as dust. Over here I took a moment to show off that the farm is running smoothly and still just using the extra utilities to furnace generator again. Because the other one was generating more power over time but at a slower rate, and so it wasn't really keeping up, so I reinstalled that again. Now we'll come down here and we'll take a look at the machines area, where you can see that there's a whole bunch of stuff going on over here. Of course we've got the undeath generators, which look like they are out of fuel. Need to get this automatically set up to head over here, but for now we're just going to manually load it. This one, yeah, should still have some in it. Ooh, completely out of power. All these machines are currently, yeah, we'll have to wait for that to catch up a little bit, but that's no big deal. Okay, so let's take a look here. We're going to flip back over to the Excompressum stuff. So you can see here I've got a cobblestone generator, tier 3 at the moment, that is feeding cobblestone into this thing. Now these 2 slots are empty when it starts, but you can add diamond hammers into them and that speeds up the process, makes it just break down the blocks faster. Then I've got those running into an auto compressor, which then takes the gravel that it makes and turns it into compressed gravel. And then we'll take a look here. This is the normal recipe. That's just a whole bunch of iron and a diamond hammer for the auto hammer. The compressor is just a whole bunch of iron, including a block, and then some crafting tables. That feeds the compressed gravel into the auto sieve, which then feeds into another auto compressor. Now you can see here that I've just modified all of the cables to where they have different channel colors, so that way this isn't inserting cobblestone into all of these. So I've got green into brown, brown into blue, blue into purple, purple into cyan, and then cyan goes into all of these wonderful storage drawers over here. We've got a drawer controller set up here. This basically just means I need only one input, so that way I didn't have to run cable to all of these drawers here. And then as it auto compresses the final material, it pumps it out here. You can see we've got diamonds, emeralds, lapis, apatite, flint, and coal, and then we've got all of the metals coming out. And then what we can do is we can take them out ourselves and then just hammer them down into the final products and then smelt them up like we were doing before. Now, one of the goals here is to have all of the different materials being done, right? So we would have like an auto hammer off of this that is then funneling the gravel into another auto hammer, so that way we're getting sand, which is then funneling into another one so that we can get dust, and then having all of those run through an auto sieve process much like this, so that way we can have all of the different materials, because sand produces different stuff than gravel, and dust produces different stuff than both of those as well. So eventually, if we have that setup going, then we're going to get all of the different materials and we will have plenty of them. Now that's a future goal, and I'm not sure if it's even going to be done inside this area. I didn't build this very big because I didn't think that it would be a permanent platform. It's something that we'll have to expand into as resources are generated and time moves on. But with this, guys, this is a huge step forward and a great way to start the episode, even though it was originally like the middle point for me, where you can see that we've already gathered a fair amount of resources, like a full stack of iron that we can break down into a little bit more. Gold's getting good. That's aluminum. And then we have over here the really rare stuff, like that's where platinum is. We have also got silver. Lead less rare, but then over here we have the yellowite and the uranium, which is going to be key to our future power generation, because this stuff pumps out really good power once you put it into the various structures that are used to make it. So we've got some good stuff in the future. We've got a good solid infrastructure set up here so that we don't really have to sit there and pound out the materials ourselves, although we still can if we need to make a great deal more. And yeah, the ender lily's growing nicely. I've set up another space, and of course it's easier to make more as soon as I get another seed. Let's see, was there anything else that was covered by the videos? I don't really think that there was. I'm just going to look around the area a little bit just to make sure. No, I don't think anything else was covered by it. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and cut here. We're going to work on a couple of other little minor projects that we need to advance some of our stuff, and then once I have something worth showing, I will be back with you. Alright, and I've done a couple of things, but I brought you back so we could talk about what was going on here. Number one, I don't think that I showed you, because this is one of the things that got lost before, so I also made a shuriken, and I made it unbreaking, so that way I can just keep going with it. The materials in it right now are paper, silver, bone, and cactus until I can get something better, and it doesn't do a lot of damage, but you know, I can do it infinitely. Over here on top of the other mob spawner, I set up one for blazes that is going to be more of a manual farm. See, the wooden spikes down here, they'll damage entities, but they'll only damage them down to where they have half a heart left. Like, that's the maximum damage that it can do to them. So then I can come along and just deal the final blow, as it were, and pick up those player-only drops. And it's a good thing to have until I can get some diamond spikes going, so that I'll have those player-only drops, or maybe some other form of mob killing that can do that. So yeah, you can see that I added it to a barrel here, and I have a cable running into it as well. So it comes in here just like before and then gets snapped down here. Now the second thing I did, you can see that's an advanced item collector. Now I really should have done that sooner because the recipe is actually not that much more expensive. You see, it just requires the one that I already made and then 2 glowstone and a redstone torch. So I could have done this ages ago. And the cool thing about this one is that it's configurable. I can set an area to it. I could put a filter in that would only allow certain items in or keep certain items out. But that's phenomenal. I'm really liking what's going on here. So it can collect all the way up for the blazes. It can collect down here for these, and then transport stuff around. Now the second thing that we're going to get done over here is going to be right up here. So this is something that I've been waiting to try to work on. I needed the blaze rods, which is why I set up the second farm there, and that's to get us some ender chests. Now these are going to help us to transport the power around, and well, more specifically the items that the power is currently using. Now, the undeath generators, they can use a number of different sources. We're going to go ahead and take a look real quick at what's available recipe-wise. So you can see rotten flesh is 20 RF per tick, bones are 40 RF per tick, and if you do bone blocks, it's 120 RF per tick. Now, this is what we're actually aiming at. This is what we really want to get out of this farm. And so I have this idea. I'm going to let these run down. I'm going to set up the bones to be going into an ender chest and then be delivered over to the power area where there will be, say, a sag mill that is turning them into bone meal. And then the bone meal will be used in an auto compressor and will turn into those bone blocks. That's what I'm hoping to get done over here. But I needed the ender chest so that way I could move the items around, because having like a long line of cables is just not something that I have available to me at this time. Strangely, it's easier for me to transport the items wirelessly than it is to make a lot of cables and transport the items that way. But yeah, so I'm going to work on that a little bit, try to get a good machine setup going to where it's getting power and also able to output, and then I'll have you back and we'll take a look at it. Alright, and here we go. So over here, I've set up just a really quick thing. Eventually, I'm just going to put the ender chest in the location where the bones were. But for now, I just had them kind of loop over here so that way I could get this going. And then up here, we got the ender chest, the sag mill, and then the compressor here on the back making the bone blocks. Now currently, this is still running off of the rotten flesh. As soon as all of this is used up, then it'll start pumping in those, and we will have a powerful 120 RF per tick per generator here. That's quite a lot. That's quite good. What I'm gonna have to do probably is collect some more skeleton spawners and just make this whole thing here skeleton spawners. I think I've got 2 zombies in there and a witch along with the skeleton, and I'm probably just going to try to make that all skeleton and then have a separate mob farm for the other materials. Since this is going on, I might disable the top one and just make it more of a bigger tower, have it go all the way up, maybe move the blaze one. I'm not 100% certain, but the bones are, I don't know if this will be able to keep up, is essentially what I'm trying to get across. Because once this starts being used, it will fill up all these machines and keep them running, you know, nigh infinitely. So I'm not 100% certain what's going to happen there. So let's go ahead and reconnect this. There we go. We can start sapping power out of it. I'm hopeful that this will be okay, but it might not. It might be running too much power so that this would stop running. I think it'll be okay though once the bone blocks get dropped in, which should be relatively quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and let it run and see what happens. But yeah, so we've got a fully automatic system over here that is generating materials, and now we've taken care of the power. I mean, at least to a certain extent. We'll have to do some more with it, but this is a very good start for us. A very good start indeed. Hey, and I wanted to address something else that happened while I was doing all of the other stuff because it just came up to me that I still haven't completed the quest. So I finally got this to work and make the hearty stew. Now I had a comment on the last video that talked about needing to use cooked chicken instead of the normal chicken. But the truth is that it was the order of the ingredients that I was putting in, because putting in the chicken ahead of all of the other stuff and the flour ahead of all of the other stuff started the cauldron to go ahead and cook those items. Even though I was putting in ingredients for higher tier recipes. So what I did this time, put in the bowls, put in the mushrooms, I did all of the ingredients for the hearty stew, which you can see here: the baked potato, the carrot, the mushrooms, the bowls. I put all that stuff in first, then I put in the cooked chicken, and then I put in the flour, and that finally got it to come together because it didn't start cooking until it had the flour in it. So yeah, so now I've got this hearty stew, which is good. And then we need to make a mushroom soup, was the other part of the quest there. So we're going to go ahead and get that. And then, yep, that should complete the quest. So now we can choose a reward here. Now we're doing really good for food now. We've got lots of options with what we have available and are already farming. So I'm going to go ahead and just take the loot chest. I'm fine with that. There's no quest behind that, so we're good there. So let's pop this loot chest open and see what we got. Wow. Wow. Haha. That's phenomenal, actually. Wow. 3 Dragon's Breath and a well from Pam's Harvest Craft. A well, which is not something that I think you're able to craft because it is an infinite water source. Oh, no, I guess you are. I guess you are able. But look at how high tier: witherproof, reinforced obsidian, hardened stone bricks from environmental tech. That's high up there. That stuff's not easy to craft, particularly in this pack. But yeah, that's infinite water right there, I'm pretty sure. Let's we'll take a look. I'll hook it up. Let me make another tank. We'll hook this up and we'll see if it's just generating water as often as it can. You know, I cut there, but honestly, I'm just going to do it on camera. It's not like it's going to be that hard. I don't have to like really go out of my way to try to generate stuff here. So let's find one of those fluid tanks. 4 iron bars, and any kind of glass, I'm pretty sure. So we'll grab out one of those. We've got the 4 iron. We'll need to make some more. Oh no, we got the bars too. Was it like that? And then the glass in the center. Yeah. Great. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll head out here to where we're doing all of this stuff anyways. We'll do it on this side. Over here next to the maple syrup, if you will. We'll lay down the well, put down the fluid tank, and tell it to start drawing out of the bottom. Maybe it can't draw out of the bottom since I'm not using the pressurized one. We'll try this the opposite direction then. How about the fluid tank here and the well on top, and then tell it to start drawing out of the top. No? No. Well, we'll put the water in there. Can I do it this way? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I get it. So that's good though. I mean, yeah, it's an infinite water source. We have an infinite water source now. That is phenomenal. Hey, and we're going to try to finish off this episode by fulfilling a couple of quests if we can. We're going to take a look at the book and see what's going on. So let's open up this one. We're going to ignore those for a minute. We're going to come down here. So, iron toolkit, get an extra modifier. Let's look into that. Toolkit. Iron. Large iron plates. Block of pig iron. How do you get that again? Emerald, blood, and iron. You know, I think I accidentally got some of this earlier when I was doing all this stuff, but I sure don't see it in there. So we'll get one of these blocks of emeralds that we have, pull that out, drop that in, and then we need a little bit of iron in there too, which we have. Let that go in and Do we have? Yeah, we have at least the minimum amount there. Let's see if we can get a full block of this. I'm gonna let this smelt up. Alright, just a little bit of self-mutilation later and we've got an iron toolkit. So that should complete that quest. Fantastic. Let's look at everything that's available here. Not sure what to take, honestly. I mean, the only thing that I can't craft is the diamond ore. But I've got plenty of diamonds. That's not really an issue. Mending moss is not bad. Sorry about that cut, didn't mean to do that, tapped the wrong button there, but I ended up going with the diamond apples. Those aren't going to be useful for us here at the base, but when we go out dungeon hunting, those are some pretty significant benefits, and it's also a meal in and of itself. So that's something that we're going to be interested in. Let's take a look again at the other quests in the area. The gold one... that's got some good modifiers for it as well, but we're going to go ahead and move over here and get ourselves an engineer's toolbox. Let's see what that requires. Engineer's toolbox. Rose red and aluminum plates. Let's look at the one for immersive engineering. Just the hammer and an aluminum, no problem. So let's pull out 3 aluminum here. Pull out our, pull out our hammer. Nope, not that one. That's the yaw hammer. The engineer's hammer. That's the one we're looking for. Put that in, 1, 2, 3. Got that done. Fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and slap those across the top. What was the other parts of it? A wooden storage crate, which is 8 treated wood. We can do that. We happen to already have some treated wood available to us. We'll hop over here to use this one. There we go. And then we need rose red, which since we were doing all of the stuff to try to get some Enderly seeds earlier, we've got plenty of roses. We'll smack that down. Boom. Engineer's toolkit. Yeah, it is. Don't you try to lie to me, game. Don't you try to lie to me, game. And then the storage up here, gosh, that's something that we've already done and something that we already have. So let's go ahead, we're going to throw this stuff in here because I'm not quite ready to take on that yet. Let's come down and take a look at those. What were they called again? Sorry. Storage crates. Storage. What's a reinforced one? Iron rods and iron plates. Iron rods, just 2 iron. Yeah, that's something that we can do. Put the hammer back in, get ourselves a couple of iron plates, and then we'll do that to get the iron rods. Boom. Then we got to get those treated planks out, of which we have exactly as many as we need. Boom. And then what was the recipe again? Oh no. No, we need 4 more treated planks. Well, that's definitely something that we can do. I mean, I have the creosote already in here, because I was making sure to keep up with that, so that way I wouldn't have to struggle to get more of that later. Get ourselves that. Boom. And then we can put those in the corner. Put those along the top and bottom, those along the side, and we've got ourselves a reinforced storage crate. And that completes that quest. We got 2 more storage crates in addition to another quarter heart, and that quest line has terminated. So fantastic, guys. That's a good bit of progress for us today. We're going to go ahead and end the episode there. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like on the video, and also subscribe if you want to see more. Until the next time, guys, I will see you later.